If you're a high schooler, especially if you're a freshman in high school, you need to watch this video. So important not to get caught up in all of the work. They honestly hurt my GPA in the long. That's honestly almost 50% of the whole game. It's all about mindset. These people just have a lot of drama within their group. They don't need to be in your life, you know. It is truly all going to work out in the end. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Brianna. And today I'm going to be giving you guys my top 10 things that I wish I knew as a freshman in high school or as a high schooler in general. I am going to be a freshman at Princeton in just less than a week now, which is absolutely crazy. But I've learned so much throughout high school. I attended a pretty large public high school. If you know these earlier on, I think you'll have a much easier time in high school. So without further ado, let's get into the top 10 things I learned. The first thing is make time for enjoyment, and this is something that is so important throughout high school, because if you have large aspirations and are looking to get into like a top 20 school, you're most likely going to take classes that consume a lot of your time and challenge yourself, which is great, but it's so important not to get caught up in all of the work and spend like every single day like a robot just working non-stop, because it will literally take a toll on your mental health. And I've experienced that firsthand, especially in junior year with AP chemistry. Even if it makes you feel guilty because you have so much work to do, it is so important to try to make time to find enjoyment, whether that's playing sports. Like for me, I would always play tennis, or just playing an instrument, or even if you have a hobby like YouTube. For me, I basically kind of neglected my channel because of how much work I had. So if you have a hobby that you know you love, just try to make time for it, because trust me, you won't regret it in the long run, and trust me, you can fit everything in as long as you make time. The second thing I wish I knew as a freshman is that it's better to challenge yourself than take the easy way out. And this goes for anyone. As a freshman, I was told by so many teachers, unfortunately, in my middle school and even in high school, that I shouldn't take challenging courses like honors classes or even AP classes. I know they're just trying to make sure that students don't like get overwhelmed and fail out. If you're trying to make yourself look good for college and you know you're going to try to get into a top school, it's so important to start early. And that doesn't mean going crazy and taking like 4 APs your freshman year, but you want to try to take easier level APs if you can, like 1 or 2, like computer science principles, psychology, something like that, that gets you a taste of what AP classes are, because they do differ a lot from regular classes that don't really have like a timeline to get done before an exam. Even if you aren't that confident in yourself, it's so much better to challenge yourself and have that preparation for future years, because like as a freshman, I was told by these people just to take CP classes or college prep courses, which are like the average level courses. So I took a bunch that I thought were interesting to me, but they honestly hurt my GPA in the long run, my weighted GPA. The gap from freshman year to sophomore year for me was a big gap, and that actually hurt me as well. Number 3 is to use your free time wisely. When you actually do have free time in those very few moments, it might make you want to like just completely break down and like not do anything, but it is still important to be productive, especially like during the summer. If you're not a junior and if you're not a sophomore, like the summer of your freshman year, you want to make sure you're allotting that time really well, whether that's just getting into volunteer work or also like starting to practice for your SAT, because that is so important. It's like that's honestly almost 50% of the whole game. Even if you're not a great test taker, if you can still at least try your best on that, starting from like 9th grade, it really goes a long way. And also like into your sophomore junior year, you're not going to have a lot of time to study for the SAT, especially during the school year. So it's really important that you use your summertime to do that. My 4th thing I wish I knew was to choose extracurriculars wisely. I know some of you may not be freshmen and you may be in your sophomore, junior, even senior year, I don't know, but it's never too late to start. And I truly mean that. What I mean by choosing your extracurriculars wisely is you want to choose them so that you can paint a picture of yourself or like a common theme that you want to portray to other people, specifically college admission officers, because those are the people that are going to be admitting you for college. There's so many different themes you can paint yourself as. If you want to show that you are passionate about a certain topic, then it's really important to kind of gear your extracurriculars towards that topic or cause. And there's so many ways to do that. Just don't go to every volunteering event that you possibly can just to say that, oh, you're an avid volunteer, unless that's like a way to paint yourself in a certain picture. But when you go to write your essays and make your common application for college, it's really important to have that theme that you can like connect all different parts of yourself to, because it really makes you more believable and gives the admissions officers a better idea of who you are as a person. Number 5 is really important, especially like I wish I had this knowledge when I was a junior. Don't let a bad test grade unmotivate you. You know, it's not like that one test grade is the end of it. Like, you're still gonna have another test and probably many more after that. It's all about mindset. Like, if you have a test and say you got a way worse grade than you thought you were gonna get, you thought you were so prepared for the test, and all of a sudden you get like a really bad grade. I know that can be so unmotivating and just like frustrating because you worked so much for that grade, and then the outcome, like, you almost feel like you wasted all of your time studying for it when you could have been studying for something else. And I felt that way so many times, and it's so important to just kind of not focus on that like pessimistic attitude. For a course like AP Chemistry, for example, that course was nonstop. Like, every single week I had a big test, and if you did bad on a test and then you were thinking about that test, there's no way you could prepare adequately enough for the next test, and it would just become like a downward cycle. So it is so important not to dwell on a bad test and just know that you're gonna try your best on the next one. Number 6 is prioritizing is key. Which kind of goes off of the tip that I was just talking about, because in order to try to maximize your test grades, you want to see what the priority is, and a great way to do that is to get an agenda book. Something like this, or even on your phone, it doesn't matter, it could be on your laptop as well, but I love getting these types of agenda books every single year. They just have like a weekly schedule, and I would just write down all of my assignments and stuff. It's very helpful keeping track of everything that you need to do. But when you write down your to-do list, it's important to look at that list and be cognizant of what is actually important to get done. Because if you have like, I don't know, Spanish homework, for example, that is due next class versus like a chem test to study for, you really should, even if the Spanish homework is easy to get done, you should really focus on what the most important thing is to do, which is studying for that chem test. And you'll get to know your own study habits as you go through high school, especially high school, because you really can't get by with hard classes without studying. So you'll get to know yourself and how you work. Number 7 is a little bit different than just academics. It's just to know that it's okay not to have a huge friend group. And not to be, I guess, the quintessential popular kid. Of course, if that is you, that's great. The vast majority of people aren't going to be that quintessential popular kid, and it's totally okay, and it could be even for the best, because the majority of popular groups I've seen of these people just have a lot of drama within their group, and that's just another added layer of stress that you don't want to have to worry about as a student, and as a top student for sure. Especially if you have goals that you're trying to work towards, that's just going to be a barrier, an obstacle. Like, for me, I have a really close group of friends that have stuck with me throughout my whole time in high school and even before then. I honestly think that's like the best thing ever, because you know that you always have each other's backs. Even if your friends that you have aren't in all of your classes, it's just great to always have someone that you can trust in and that you can go to for any advice. Don't feel pressured to have like a huge social life or anything. But of course, at the same time, don't completely neglect your social life as well. You want to have a good balance, guys. It's all about balance, which seems easier than it actually is. This one is such a good one that people need to know. Number 8 is to don't worry about what others think. And that is so important, and I'm still actually working on that. I'm like, it's hard. You can't just be like, okay, I'm not gonna worry about what anyone thinks, because it's not as easy. Say you have a lot of acne, that's something that I struggled with. You shouldn't worry about what others think of you. Like, no matter how insecure you are, it's always better to just focus on what you need to focus on, and don't let anyone take that away from you, like your goals, and don't let these other people get in the way. It's always better to surround yourself with people who make you the best person you can be, and if they don't do that, then they don't need to be in your life, you know? You don't know 99% of the things people are insecure about. It could, and also if you're worrying about something that you think other people can see about you, half the time they don't even know anything about what you're thinking of. Like, for example, I don't know, I can't even think of anything. If you're thinking about like a shirt you're wearing and you think it's like weird and you think people are probably thinking weird things about it, half the time they don't even look at your shirt and don't even think about it at all. But I'm just rambling now, so let's get on to the next one. Number 9 is that it's okay to take breaks for your own sanity and your own mental health. Taking breaks doesn't just have to mean like doing things that you enjoy. It can really mean just like doing nothing, like scrolling on your phone, on TikTok or YouTube Shorts, Instagram, because that's really important too, to just like let your mind decompress, because it's so easy to get caught up in all the stuff that you have to do and never really give yourself any downtime. And it's also really important to sleep as well. I'm not the type of person who would stay up until like 12 or 1 every single night and then go to sleep and then wake up the next day at 6. I knew some people who did that, and honestly, I don't know how they would even function the next day, because I know as a person myself, I would not be able to function. Even if you have to sacrifice some studying, it's most likely going to be better to do that than to just keep studying and then be completely tired the next day for your test. The 10th thing that I wish I knew is that it is truly, truly all going to work out in the end, and I'm not just saying that because I got into my dream school. I swear. I've had so many rough patches along the way. For example, my chem class. I had a summer course with this one teacher who I absolutely fell in love with. He was such a great teacher to have, but then I didn't have him for AP Chem, and I was honestly quite sad. Looking back in hindsight, I shouldn't have made it that big of a deal, because the teacher that I was left with was amazing as well. So just don't get caught up on the little things, and just know that everything will work out for you, even if in the moment it doesn't seem that way. Those are literally the most important things that you need to know going into high school. And if you are still watching right now, I applaud you, because you are going to be so much more prepared than you were before. I hope you guys remember these tips, and best of luck in high school and the rest of your high school journey, wherever you are. You will make it out in the end, no matter how hard it gets for you. Trust me, and I wish someone told me that. If you guys enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a like and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you all in my next one. Bye!